All right, just taking a video here on this, what we're finding here on the back of this deck at 112 Shooting Star Way. So what we have here is original deck, or for the most part original, the house right there, and then down here this is the new addition back here. So at one point we had post here, post here, post here, and like 3 more posts headed down there. It was all kind of sitting on top of this double beam, and that's what was supporting the original deck. With the new structure, I think the idea is that all the structure was attached to this new building, and then these posts were cut away. So the only post that is still standing is this one. The other, I believe it's 5 of these posts, have been cut, so they have no support whatsoever. Part of the issue is that this beam is still here, and this beam in certain contexts is still being counted on for support, but it has no support whatsoever. So I'll take a video from the other end, but you can see the beam is bowed and it's not supported by anything the entire distance, and it's starting to crack in the middle, and it is dropped. I ran a laser 4.5 inches in that center portion. So even there at the very end, you can see that post, but that post is cut as well. I'll go back over there. So pretty significant issue. And then obviously you have this double beam right there that's hung on this beam, so this does have to stay here in some capacity. The other big issue here is we got a triple. It is 2 2x10s and a 2x8. The plastic's nailed at 2x8, but it's 3 of them all together. And that beam is up in here. And this beam, as you can see behind there, is not attached in any way, shape, or form. So this beam here, and this post here is completely just floating on air. And then because of this, it's really just these 6 joist hangers that are holding up almost this entire corner of the deck. We got no rim joists on the outside there. And then these joist hangers, as you can see, are pulled away at least a good inch from the house. And they have pulled down. Now we're gonna run here to the other side. Okay, so here's again that last post, and that is cut. And then I'm gonna climb up in here. So here we've got kind of a triple, we've got a double, and then a big, looks like a cedar 2x or something like that. And when you look back in here, it is, you can see there's a couple nails. That is literally it. That is holding this triple to the house. No joist hanger, no legs, nothing, just a couple nails. And it's starting to pull away. Maybe it's just hanging on by a little corner of that piece of wood. I'm not sure. So super freaky. And then when you look under here again at this beam, here's kind of another good angle of it. It runs that entire distance without it being supported in any way, shape, or form by anything. So then we have the other issue is that, so again, here in the center, it's going downhill like this, sagged 4.5 inches kind of right here in the middle. So these joists here are resting on this double, again, that isn't supported the entire length, but even here, I can put my fingers underneath here. It's not even resting on the building or anything like that. And so I think this is really attempting to be the support for these joists. Now, this is kind of like a rim joist that has one nail in it, maybe 2 nails right there, kind of at the end of these, but they're pushing down and cracking, and it's dropped onto this beam right here. But this beam isn't anchored. It's just got a few toenailed, things. So in the center here, I think we've got to replace this beam, with an appropriate beam that's going to be a little bit taller to lift the deck back up. And then it's got to be joist hangered so it doesn't drop. And then I got to replace these joists so that they can run out and sit on top of this beam that we've got to pull out in order to be able to put the joist hanger on it. So we're going to pull this beam out a little bit so we can get a good joist hanger around this beam, and then different joists, they're going to sit on top of this at the right level. And then a couple of these like that one didn't even go anywhere. It's just kind of sitting, floating, cracking, because again, the whole thing is dropped right there. So most of this deck is hung up by like 3 joist hangers here and like 6 joist hangers over here, and that whole thing's kind of sagging. So here, going back down, and then in this corner we're gonna run, I think we really got to remove this whole beam, because this is gonna fight us jacking up the deck, and it's not doing anything. I mean, it's hanging on by some toenailed nails, so it's actually just adding weight to the deck. And then we've got to probably pull that post and secure this triple out there. And then over here, same thing, probably get rid of that beam that's running across here. We need the beam right here because it's being counted on by this beam over there. So I think in a perfect world, somebody would have prescribed a post right here, but that's gonna be tricky because we've got new concrete down here. And so this beam isn't needing a ton of weight. It just can't go away. So I think we're gonna jack this up and temporarily support it. And then we gotta pull out all these bolts. We're gonna pull this post out and then jack up this triple. And we're gonna slide a ledger. We're gonna cut this triple back, and we're gonna slide another ledger in behind it as far as it can go over to that joist hanger there. And then we're gonna just, ledger lock kind of like an extended, another ledger behind this beam, because that's too big of a gap, to hang it on a joist hanger. And we need one anyway, because there's no rim joist out there. So we'll put a new ledger in behind that, take out this post, cut back that triple, hang that triple after we jack it up onto the ledger there. And then we'll put the post back in, and then we'll take out this temporary support and screw this back into this post so that this is hung on the post. And then I think before we do that, honestly, I'm gonna take some 12-inch ledgers and screw this post into that ledger board so that this post is going nowhere, and then it has sufficient, to hang on to this. And it really isn't, this is no longer really supporting the weight of this, because we'll put that on the joist hanger here. So yeah, a lot of stuff to do, manageable, So obviously we got to pull off all this stuff underneath here, get access to those, and then decent amount of those joists have to be replaced so we can get them back up to the level and get them all the way up against the house. That's kind of the rundown.